I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
What is up, AfterBuzzers? Welcome back to the Dead to Me After Show. Today we are going to be discussing Season 2, Episodes 7 and 8. If you only knew, and it had to be you, we are getting towards the end of this season. Things are very much heating up, and I'm so excited to break it down. As always, I am your host, Taylor Gates, and I'm joined by two lovely co-panelists today. We, of course, have all the way from DC, Miss Mia.
Hi, everyone. So happy to be here. And I love this panel, so I say that every time. I'm so happy.
I know. I love it, too. I'm so excited to break it down. I love how you always have the headband, and then we have Cortez, who's the queen or the king of hats and beards.
It is. I'll be a queen, too. That's fine.
Okay, queen. Why not both?
No.
Everyone's the queen here, guys.
Right. How's everyone doing?
Okay, I'm so excited. We have so much to talk about, so let's just get right into it. What were your guys' overall thoughts on these two episodes?
I'll let you go first, Mia.
Okay.
You're like, I'm waiting.
So I'm like, ta-da. So they were good. I think we needed to get somewhere. I liked other episodes better, but I mean, every episode is important. That's why I love this show. Like, every single episode there's a twist, as we know. So I missed Henry. Like, I miss seeing Henry so much, but I love seeing Jen build a relationship with Charlie. So that was good, even though I still think he's a little turd. And then there's just like a lot of key moments that made me think, like, how is this all gonna end? So these are the two episodes where I really started thinking about, like, what are my final predictions? Because how are they gonna get out of being caught? Like, will the show, I'm sure they'll have a season 3, so it's like, will that be them caught and we see their experience with that, or will they not be caught? And then, like, because I just think they're gonna get caught. They're so close to Charlie, like, realizing something and Parker knows. So it's just like, yeah, there's a lot going on. So we'll see.
Absolutely. What about you, Cortez?
Mm-hmm.
Just gonna echo that.
I
might be frozen.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, there you are. I thought you were frozen.
Oh, can you?
Go ahead. Yes, I can hear you.
No.
Oh.
Okay, so basically, I think they were pretty happy.
Yeah.
That they both were relationship, whether it's not important, but how valuable and how they're going to be able to push through these situations, because all of them are in some type of bind, I feel like, within the story, whether it's even, Charlie and his little fling with his girl, things like that. Like, there's so many like relationship touches. So I enjoyed it. I think Mia hit the hit on the nail when she said that some episodes were a little better, but this one was very important. I think it's going to really take us to the end.
Yeah, I agree. I think these two were very plot driven, and some of the other ones we maybe dive deeper into character, and these were very much like breakneck pace. Like, let's start developing sort of these crazy storylines and the mystery element of it all. So completely agree with you guys on that. Let's kind of start off kind of where we left off last time, which was the big cliffhanger of Detective Perez actually being Michelle's ex-girlfriend that she still happens to live with. So before we, get the whole confrontation, I guess, between Judy and Perez, we do have this really sweet scene with Judy and Michelle in bed, which I thought was just so cute. I love that they're like obviously kind of taking their relationship to the next level. They're so sweet with each other. What did you guys think of that? Like, Judy says that she loves Michelle when Michelle goes into the bathroom. Were you surprised that it was that fast, or were you like, oh, I kind of saw this coming?
That's the thing with Judy, is like, I was like, who? You barely know this girl. And then I was like, but I love Judy and I love this for her. Like, this is psychotic, but like, I'm so glad that she found someone who she loves so much. Love since she said it. And then I also love, like, her lines are just so Judy. We just need t-shirts that say so Judy. Like, when she's like, I know you're a chef, but let me make you breakfast. And when she's like, yeah, like, I love you. I just thought it was so cute. But I was just, the entire time I was just waiting for Detective Perez to pop up. I was just waiting. And when her shirt, oh my gosh, what did it say? What did her shirt say? I think it said stay in your lane, or her nightgown. That was so funny. So funny.
Oh my gosh.
I thought the same.
Yeah. I thought it was so sweet, but I knew that it was a ticking time bomb, because we knew that she and Perez were going to meet up somehow, and there wasn't even Michelle there to have a buffer, so it was like even worse than it could have been. But I thought that scene was so funny too, because they just both looked at each other and they're like, oh no, like not you, anyone but this person. I thought Perez, I think she's so funny because she's so emotionless in so many ways. And she's like, don't offer me my own espresso. Like, I just think her blank face towards everything is so iconic and hilarious. But they have that, that scene in the kitchen, but later in the episode, like, she kind of digs pretty deep into Jen and Judy. We'll talk about the vigil, but I want to just talk about her scenes at the vigil since we're kind of on the subject of her right now. What did you think about her telling Judy that she's kind of at the epicenter of both of these cases? She needs to watch herself. Are you guys nervous about her, or do you think that she's still too far away from the truth?
I enjoy Perez for her humor, but as a character, I think she's one of those like annoying type of detective or cops. You're like, oh my God, like it's like they eat, breathe, and sleep their work, And it's like now I feel like she's gone beyond that. I think she's just like obsessed with this situation, and that's what annoys me. So I enjoy her as like when she's just like being, pestering them, but at the same time, like leave these girls alone, like leave Judy alone. Like she's clearly the sweetest person. Like she could not be, leave Judy alone in my Chris Parker voice.
What a throwback.
So that's my sentiments on it. Like I like her, but she annoys me. And in that scene, I was just like, really at the visual, like where, wherever this man is, if she's killed him or whatever she thinks she's done, she's obviously sad about it. And you're talking about like, you're like basically pushing her further into a hole. I'm like, Perez, really?
Oh,
I feel that. What about you, Mia?
That's a good point. I was going to say, I think last episode, you both made good points. And Taylor, you said this because I expressed how I was like really annoyed with Judy. And I was just like, she's crying too much. Like at this point, we get it. You're sad. Like, let's move this forward. And you said, you were like, this is going to be the catalyst. And I feel like we're actually past, at least like, I think she's less annoying now. And like, not that I thought she was annoying as a whole, but I was just like, stop crying so much. But now I was really happy this happened at the visual. And I feel like that was the catalyst. Like this episode was her standing up for herself and being like, I was sitting in my room, I was like, yes, Judy, like standing up to Perez was so awesome. And she just was like going off on her and was like, I'm a good person, and started like picking up the paper bags or whatever it was. So I'm hoping that paired with at the end Perez being sad over Flo and then Judy kind of like consoling her, I'm hoping this will get Judy off of her radar.
Yeah, totally. And I mean, before the visual, just going back a little bit, we do have her. I think I agree with you that it was kind of building to that moment where she kind of stood up for herself. I think especially throughout this episode, because we have Jen being sort of a hypocrite because she's like, you have to break up with her if Perez is
very hypocritical.
But like, girl, you're the one who's kissing Ben, so like, who's really at fault here? So
I have thoughts about Jen this episode.
Yeah, we'll get there definitely. But I totally feel for Judy because I mean, Jen has a point, and she was like, okay, I'll do it, and she broke up with Michelle, and you could tell that really, really hurt her, and she didn't want to do it. She just felt like she had to do it. And then we have the guy Howard Hastings, which he will be more important when we talk about in the next episode, but at the vigil he's like yelling at Judy for ratting Steve out. She sees that Heidi, Steve's girlfriend after her, is pregnant. Like that's obviously a trigger too. So I was just there's so much. Mia, I saw you cover your mouth. Let's talk about that moment.
I had so many I mean this whole show has me emotional, but I was emotional a different way when I felt like I was in Judy's shoes when I saw that girl was pregnant, because I don't know if you guys at first, when they first panned to her, I didn't see her stomach. I don't know if they did a reveal on purpose or not, but the second time they panned to her, I was like, oh my gosh, no, Judy, this is so sad. Like I couldn't even be happy for this woman, which is so bad. And I think that's what Judy was going through too in that moment, because she's so built on being happy for other people, but she was seething. And I was kind of living for it when she was like, so how long has it been, huh? Who's the baby daddy? I was like, yes, Judy, ask those questions. So I just was like waiting for her to explode, and I was happy she did. But like, I don't know, it's hard. It's like, it's not the girl's fault. It's one of those things where like, again, like I caught myself, like we're so internally like misogynized by society. Like I was so mad at this girl. I was like, how dare you go get pregnant with Steve's baby? And I was like, well, it's really kind of not her fault. Like,
Yeah.
I don't remember if Steve was cheating or not. Like then that'd be an issue if the girl knew. But
I'm
like,
sure
I was
that
like,
she was. Or I'm sure that he was.
if the girl knew, then I'm like, okay, whatever, you deserve what's coming to you. And if she didn't, then I'm like, okay, like I do feel bad. And like, I feel bad for being mad at you for the second that like Judy saw you. But what a complex scene. And I thought Linda Carlini was so good in that scene. So good. Ooh. Yeah.
She's amazing. And it was great how I think that Judy went through a lot of the emotions you went through, because you could tell that she was angry and like very jealous at first, but then she obviously starts to comfort her after she starts kind of breaking down, since Steve is obviously not there to like help her through her pregnancy. So I really like that we saw that journey, and we kind of went on that journey, I think, along with Judy, which is really cool. Okay, let's talk about how this vigil came to be, because what a situation. We have Ben coming over saying that they found the car and it was arson. It was only a matter of time before that happens, which that comes into play a little bit more in the second episode. But in this episode, we have Jen feeling really bad for Ben and for the family. And so she kind of blurts out, all right, let us plan the vigil. You shouldn't have to do that. It's like not something anyone should have to do. Were you surprised that she kind of took this initiative?
I wasn't surprised. It's kind of like earlier when Judy, what did she do? Oh, I forgot. She did something where she kind of like spoke too fast, too soon for them to, and kind of got them in deeper trouble. I think it's just the same situation to where like we mentioned many times, that she's just kind of unstable. And so like, obviously she feels bad, just like in last season when Judy, I think when you guys said this is repeating, when Judy, she moved in and wanted to help out, like it's the same thing of repeats. It's the exact same thing, but now it's like Jen is in that situation, and I was just like, oh God, what did I just do? But I did it, so hey,
Yeah, for sure. What about you, Mia?
I have mixed feelings. I feel like it was, honestly, I was shocked that they were shocked when Judy was like, why'd you do that? I was like, oh, I thought that was the thing to do. Like, I feel like she should have said, yeah, we'll plan it. Cause again, like it's going to get them off of their tracks, or I guess the Texas, I should say, off of Judy and Jen's track. So yeah, I thought it was kind of good to do. I have bigger questions though about the fact that like, does nobody know that Judy and Steve broke up, because she's still there for all of this? So like, is she still playing? Like they were married. Now I'm forgetting. They were married, right? Or were they just fiance, or were they just
I think
together?
they were
I can't
engaged.
remember now.
I don't think they were married. I think they were engaged though.
Okay. So they were engaged. So I just have bigger questions more about that. Like, I think it's good they plan the vigil, but then I was like, is nobody here? Like, wait, why are you here? Or I don't know. So yeah.
It is kind of confusing to like know, like to see where everyone else thinks that Judy and Steve like stood before he went missing. I don't know. It is really interesting, and I think we saw a lot of those dynamics kind of at play at the vigil too. It was really interesting to see Steve and Ben's mom, how they hate Judy, but she is all here for Jen, which I thought was interesting. And I think it's just so much more guilt. I think that Jen would rather like, I don't think she's good when she's confronted with like people being kind to her, especially when she doesn't really deserve it. Like in this case, I think that she just wishes people were awful to her, but she could just be awful back, because that's what she's used to.
That.
I mean,
it's kind of like with Judy. Like she is used to people talking to her bad, and it's kind of like that's how she receives it. It's they have like they're used to what they give out, or well, she doesn't give it out, but she in the other side, Judy receives a lot of like people talking to her crazy, and Jen is very she's an F-bomb mom. Like she uses that word often, and she's just used to that type of even I think in this episode her son were talking about it, and he was like, yeah, you're totally, was it this one or was it the next one? I don't know, was it?
It's all right.
They were talking. They were talking, and he was just like, "Oh, you're totally calm." And I mean, I'm sorry, she was like, "I'm totally calm." She like freaked out. He was like, "Yeah, you're totally calm." So she's just not used to receiving kindness. I mean, i.e., Judy, like she's a kind person. She really doesn't receive her that well either.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that we could definitely see that take its toll on Jen because she is just not in a good place. And I think that's kind of what leads into her and Ben's scene. Like after that, she sees the slideshow, obviously. She talks with Pastor Wayne. I think a lot of that also contributed to sort of her like emotional space, just going back to what we were talking about like a second ago about like everyone's being so nice to her and like there's all this like sweetness and sadness and she's just like I can't deal with this. And so I think that she was in a little bit of a vulnerable place. And so when Ben comes over to her super drunk, giving her his coat, they start kissing. I think it made sense that it led there, but it's still like, wow, they went here. Like they really went here. So I want to know your guys' thoughts and reactions to that.
Jen is the worst, okay? Like, she made me so mad in this episode. And this is the thing, this is why I love the show, because it's so complex. And like, believe me when I say, I wanted this to happen so bad. I wanted that kiss to happen. And then I was sitting there and I was like, oh my gosh, I wish I was Christina Applegate because this is perfect. But the whole thing is that I was like, we cannot forget the facts. You killed his brother, okay? He said awful, awful things to you, but you took someone's life. You're about to kiss him. And she had an out. Like, he leaned in and she was like, no. Oh, my headphone fell. She was like, no.
You're so passionate.
She was like, no, I have to go. I like how I'm like reenacting scenes. I'm like, and then she was like, no, I have to go. And then he was like, well, take my jacket. And I was like, you had your out. And now once you've kissed, you're in there. Like, you are in there. And this is now messier. So that's how I feel about that.
So messy.
So messy. I loved it, but I hated it.
She hasn't been touched in a while. The last no, I would say the last time she's ever had any action was when she was with the guy, the older guy, like in the tried to like kind of take advantage of her. Remember back in season 1?
Yep.
I would not say that's
that was the last type of action she had. So she needs a little something. Let her have a little kiss.
Good. She needs love.
She needs something. Everything is going wrong. Like she just a kiss.
It's unraveling. It is unraveling.
Taylor, how did you feel about the kiss? I want to know.
I'm kind of surprised because I'm looking back to when we were watching like episode 2 and 3 and stuff, and we were kind of theorizing. And I was like, I don't think they'd like go there. And then I was like, oh, they're going there. Like, I can't believe we got here. But it did feel organic. Like I'm like, oh yeah, it makes sense that we got here. But just the fact that we are at this point, I'm just like, I never thought I'd see the day. Like, this is happening. So I don't know, very mixed feelings about it. I don't think it's gonna end well just because that's what the show is about. So I'm very nervous to see where it goes. But yeah, for the moment, like, yeah, I agree with you, Cortez. Let her get a little something. She deserves.
Yeah. It's not going to end well regardless. It's going to go bad. So
exactly.
It's like gonna have fun.
So right.
It's like let's have fun in the moment. It's not gonna. They're not going to the altar. At least I don't.
True. Well,
they are.
Oh, that would be. Yep, that would happen.
But like, we didn't think this was gonna happen either. Here we are. Let's talk a little bit about Charlie as well. Because he is starting to play a much bigger role in these couple of episodes, and he shows up to the vigil, and it's kind of sweet because it feels like he's kind of taking to Ben, which is a little bit surprising because Charlie's very much has all the walls up, like is much more like Jen, and Ben's obviously a lot like sweeter and gentler, and so it's kind of nice that he wants to sort of be there to support Ben, but obviously that doesn't end super great because we see Charlie start to get a little suspicious when he sees that license plate and that TKG Arts hat in the slideshow photo. We obviously get kind of an answer to that in the next episode, but really quickly, what did you guys think was going to happen after that? Like, did you think he was going to put pieces together, or what was your thoughts on that? Because that was one of the worst cliffhangers for me personally.
All I know
I think he was the wrong kid to find out. I think he was the wrong kid because he's already very entitled and he just is always into something. Plus, he was driving the car, so I think it was the wrong thing for him to. Just like it was the wrong thing for him to find the car, it was the wrong thing for him to see that. It's like, oh God, what is he about to do?
Yeah. I feel like I'm happy this is a binge show and that it's on Netflix and they release it all at once because I didn't have time to even think about what would happen. Literally, he came in swinging hot. Less than 5 minutes into the next episode, he was like, "What's up with this?" So like, I didn't even have time to genuinely think about what he was going to do, which is why I love the show. I thought that was so well crafted because I didn't expect him to come out swinging like 5 minutes in. So
yeah, oh, it was crazy.
But with him swinging, his mom swung back.
Yes.
Oh,
How did she make all that up on the spot?
Yeah,
She's crafty.
Yeah. She is, and I was worried too, because I was like, it's not like she's gonna like have a lot of time, because like, you know, she can kind of premeditate, and she and Judy can kind of like theorize about what they should do, but this was like a snap second situation, which was oof, yikes. But I'm glad that she had an explanation. She basically says, just to recap for anyone who's a little bit lost, because we kind of just jumped to the next episode. It's fine. But she basically says that it was a gift and he felt really bad for pulling out of the condo deal. And so this was just like a little makeup present, which I was like, honestly, that kind of checks out. Like, I kind of believe her. Like, if I hadn't seen what happened, maybe I would have believed that.
So true.
But she gaslighted her son. Like, it was like parenting 101 gone bad. Like, she was just like, yeah, because if you say something, they're gonna bring it back to you. Her Judy was like, yeah. And it was just like the worst thing to do to your son, but she had to protect the whole thing. So it was just like funny to watch.
And it's kind of the truth. Like, he literally drove the car without a license.
That is true.
He's wild. Like I said, he's a little turd. I also loved how they came together for that scene. How like Judy and Jen were like kind of like on the fritz and like fighting, and then all of a sudden he comes in and they're both just like, yeah, we're fine, we're good, and they're like on good terms again. I love that.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about that. That's a really good little segue into the next point that I wanted to talk about with you guys, which is I feel like Jen and Judy are so bad at being like honest and communicating about like huge things, but like about the little things, like they kind of like are pretty good communicators and get it over with kind of fast, because Judy's obviously super angry about her kissing Ben, not because she doesn't like her and Ben together, which I think is an important distinction, but because it's hypocritical, because she said that you have to break up with Michelle. But I like kind of I don't know how I feel about Judy being so supportive of them. Are you guys like surprised by that? Because it's kind of creepy, because he looks just like Steve.
Yeah, I didn't think of it that way, to be honest. I guess now that you say that, I forget about them being twins a lot, because I mean, he's no longer in the picture, so it's like we're just seeing one person. But now that you like bring it back to the front, it's like, oh god, they are like twins. But I mean, it is a little creepy.
It feels a little off to me.
I have such complex feelings about this, like everything else on this freaking show, because I'm like, of course, like this is so Judy to just like support Ben and Jen. I'm just like, she's such a good person, but like, I don't know. I think it's so much back and forth with them, and like she did bring up a good point, like she's because Judy said for herself a little bit more and was like, you told me to break it off with Michelle. But then I was kind of like, I was like with Judy. I was like, yeah, that's really effed up, Jen. And then I was like, well, Jen was kind of right too, because Judy can't keep her mouth shut. So like, it kind of makes sense that she was like, well, I can kiss Ben because I won't do anything stupid, but you will say something to Michelle or to Perez. So I don't know. I constantly am like back and forth, and like I see both of their sides and their reasoning. So
I don't know because Jen she's just kind of hypocritical all around. The comments you said about her, not doing anything stupid. I mean, she clearly burned a car. And
yeah, that's true.
I mean, she's not the most sane either. They both, Judy's a little more, fragile. I will say that term for her. But Jen, she doesn't have it all together either. She tried to, rat poison, acid. Just the things she's done this season hasn't been the smartest. I don't think either. So they both realistically should just leave these other parties alone, because it's very tricky either way.
That's
especially
so
with Perez being on them like this.
Yeah, can't you guys just like go on Tinder and like find someone who's not related to?
I know.
Any of this? Like,
they need help. Okay, Cupid or something. Okay, wait. Can I say one more thing?
Absolutely.
In regards to like Jen, because I said earlier I have thoughts about Jen in this episode. and like we were talking about gaslighting, I think the real gaslighter that's coming out right now is Jen, because I started noticing her verbiage and like just little bits of the dialogue, and she uses the royal we. She's like, what did she say? She was like, we can't let them know about Steve. Like we can't, like they'll rat us out. And I'm like, why are you using us and we? Like you killed Steve. And Judy's roped into this, and I guess now you are both, like, you know, tangled together because she killed your husband, you killed hers. But like, you did this second part, like you created this second wave of emotion. So I really don't like how she's like, I think she realizes Julie is like she realizes Judy is malleable, but I'm like, you gotta stop. Like,
to be fair, just to defend Jen a little bit, I mean, Judy, it would be an accomplice at this point. Because she's helped hide the body, she's helped all this
that's
stuff.
true.
Not that I think Jen would rat her out, but I think it's just no way that Judy's not gonna be found out that she's an accomplice. And I don't think she'll let Jen take the whole blame either. She'll be like, oh well, I helped hide the body and I helped do, like she's gonna join in and be like, it was both of us.
Oh my God, you're so right.
I don't know, but that's a good point, I think, too, that she's like, it's we, like, because I don't think she can handle like placing all the blame on herself.
Yeah.
I don't know that she can do that right now. But let's continue talking a little bit about Ben and Jen, because that's been one of our favorite topics this episode, because there's a lot going on with them. But it's kind of interesting because Ben is sort of shy about it at first, about the kiss, and tries to kind of sweep it under the rug, but it's very clear that he knows something happened the whole time, because he's like, well, my mom really wants you to be her buyer's agent, like I still want you to get that commission, like you still deserve it. And they have this really nice moment where they're looking at the mom's insane mansion. They said that's going for 10 to 15 million. I'm gonna be honest, that feels low, because that is a big house in like Newport. Like that's more than that. As someone who like works in real estate, I'm just like, that's a more expensive house than even 10 and 15, I think. But I thought that was such a funny scene where he's like taking her on the tour. And it was really sweet how he was talking about his scars and the turtleneck, and she was like very comforting and it's in a way that she really isn't towards anyone except for sometimes Judy and her kids. What did you think about her like being like, well, it's your story, I think you've just been through stuff?
What do you think? You go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I'm like, no, you. I love that Ben is Judy's soft spot, and I realize I'm being so like, I go 1 minute, I'm like, I don't want this to happen, and I'm like, yes, I love it, but like, it's just cute that like he is the soft spot for her, and like she's like, no, we can't do this anymore, and he's like, my mom needs this, and she's like, okay, like clearly it's like he is the Achilles heel, which I love. And I will say in this scene, I don't know if anybody else like thought it was a red flag or if it's just a red herring, but when he started talking about the scars and Steve didn't, I was like, is this going to come into play in some way? Because he didn't say where, unless I missed that little detail, because, you know, like we take notes when we're writing it. So
if it's a heart, it must be a stomach. If it's a stomach, oh no.
Oh, it's his heart.
I didn't hear that.
So I'm like, I feel like something's going to happen. Like, what a random thing to add in. So like I said, he's been so believable, but I'm still, part of me is like, was it Steve? I mean, I don't know. We'll find out, but.
Wait, no, that's so smart. And now I'm like, you have to be onto something. Oh no.
It's just something.
I didn't think about that either.
Or it could just be literally a red herring. Like they do this. I remember last season, there was a few things I was like, that meant something, and it meant absolutely nothing. So we'll see. But I mean, I just think this episode really shifted for Jen being emotional. One, because again, like Ben is her soft spot, but also his mom, like the whole perspective of her being like, I had 2 sons, you had 2 sons. I think it's really just being internalized now. It's not like I killed a bad guy. It's like, wow, I took someone's son. And so like, that's really interesting to see that set in for her.
Yeah, completely. There's so many parallels between characters. It's not like everyone has like a mirror image in some way, which is really cool. Yeah, and then of course we have that kiss at the end. It seems like she's kind of going for it, like it wasn't a one-time thing. It seems like Cortez, do you think that this is the last kiss we'll have, or do you think they're going to start to kind of dive in and do an actual
I think there's gonna, I don't know if there'll be a relationship, but I think after that kiss, I'm like, okay, like this is too many kisses. Just go ahead and do it, you know? Because I mean, that's just what this what the nature is. So I don't think it's the last one though. I think it should be the last one, but it's not going to be.
I think that's fair. We also have this interesting vandalism sort of side story, which is super terrifying at first. There's this graffiti on the garage saying, "I know what you did." And we get this hilarious scene of Jen going to Karen's house and telling Jeff to erase all the videotape, like from that last hour when she sees who it is, and from the last month, which like that feels sketchy. I am a little bit scared about that request, but we can get to that with predictions. But we do find out that the graffiti culprit is none other than Parker.
Oh,
I think I love Parker. She's so funny. Like, I just love a good teenage girl, like brat, you know? I love that kind of character. And so I thought it was hilarious that it happened to be her. But it does lead into this really sweet scene where Jen and Charlie kind of talk about how to like treat girls and like how to not cheat on people, because that is like makes the girl or the guy, you know, either way, but in this case it was the girl, you know, question if she's good enough. What did you guys think about that? And do you think that Jen was thinking of maybe her own relationships in that scene?
I didn't think that far into it. I just thought back to the initial conversation when Judy was asking Charlie about it earlier, like when she went to her house to get her to take down the picture, and he was just like, "Do you like her?" He was just like, "I don't know." You know, he just kind of, I guess it kind of shown that he wasn't really, because he kind of basically said he wasn't really into her like that. You know, he wasn't really cheating. He just found someone else that he really liked. You know, I guess so. Or whatever he decided to do. And I didn't really get from it. But I guess based off her relationship, she could kind of relate. I mean, many of these relationships feel because they all kind of show how they have been in these situations with people that may not have been the best for them. And I think that was kind of what Charlie, like he was with that girl and now he's kind of like saying that, you know, she just was not really for me. At least that's what I got from it.
Yeah. What about you, Mia?
I really, like you said, Taylor, I love the direction this conversation took. I think it was really positive one because it could have gone down a different road. She could have been like, break up with, you know, Parker, or not break up with her because already broken up, but like, you know, like never talk to her again. I hate her. But I think, Taylor, I think it was you, maybe Simone, who's going to join us on the next recap, but someone brought up the mastectomy, which I loved because that was such an important part to her character and to her into the show as a whole. But I think this was definitely a call back to that because Jen talked about it in the first season. I mean, they didn't like keep hitting it every single episode, but I did like how they touched on it and was like, he stopped touching her, like they stopped having like any intimacy after this. You're opening your body up and it's this thing you didn't choose for yourself. And like, that is so painful. And to have someone you love betray you in that way, physically and emotionally, is just awful. And this was a really, really mature moment from Jen, I thought, because she could have gone in the hole. She could have been like, I have to tell you something about your father did this to me. But I really think she was speaking from experience. It was just kind of like, it's what's done is done. Like, let me teach my son to be a better man. Like, I love that scene. So I thought it was so good. Yeah.
I 100% agree. That's exactly what I was thinking about too, because we do get that scene directly after where she's like looking in the mirror and she has like the towel around. And so I'm like, oh, she's thinking about Ted and she's thinking about, like you mentioned, the double mastectomy. I think that was a callback for sure. And I just liked it overall too, about how she is really trying to be like a good mom. And she is in a lot of ways. Like she has her flaws for sure, but I think at the end of the day, she loves her kids so much and is trying to teach them and do what's best for them. So I love how the show kind of explores motherhood and through Jen, and then obviously through Judy's like struggle with, you know, not being able to have biological kids. I think it's just such a cool theme that is woven, you know, throughout everything. We also get some crazy cliffhangers in this episode as well with the tip line, and there are so many things going on in that police station. We have
so
let me take a sip of my water.
We have Chief Hastings, which is the guy who at the vigil is, I love that face, vigil, who got mad at Judy for, you know, ratting them out. I'm thinking that he's maybe the godfather they were talking about. He's got connections to this mafia, I think, and he's working with Nick now. What are your guys' thoughts on the Hastings and Nick of it all?
I will say more in predictions, but I will just say first of all, really did not like him clearly when we met him at the vigil. And like, speaking of gaslighting, he was gaslighting Judy Like you literally said ratted him out, which means we know who was in the wrong. Judy had nothing to do with it. So like stop making her feel bad about doing what was right. But I think he'll definitely come into play in the next episode. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I didn't I just remember the conversation and he was like, when he left, he was like, I'm not your bro, I'm not your homie. I was just like, yes.
Yes.
I was like, yes. Now you should have said it to his face, but you said it, we walked away. Yes. I just enjoyed that moment. And you know, I don't really care for Nick in general, but I mean that moment I was just like, okay, all right, you know.
Yeah, I think
Chief Hastings, I didn't think about what you said. You said something about him being tied to the mafia. I didn't think about that, but if he is, oh my God, I'm a gag. So
I think he is, because whenever Nick mentioned it, he was like very threatening and scary. So I think that he got ties, but I think it's dangerous to have those two work together, because if they link up, it's gonna be bad. But I think that they kind of hate each other. So I feel like maybe they're gonna try to do it themselves and then they're not gonna get anywhere, you know, because I think that maybe that will work for us, the fact that Nick and Hastings are like on the quote unquote same team, because I don't think they can work together very well.
Yeah, no,
sorry.
No, go ahead. No.
Okay, I was just gonna say we also get a couple other phone calls. And it's terrifying because we have Charlie in the garage seeing the gas can going into his backpack and pulling out the thing that was in Steve's car, and he calls the phone. Steve's phone, and he called Hastings, which oh my gosh, I guess we should say that to predictions, because there's not really anything that we can just say. That's what happened, and I think that everyone's scared is I guess all we can say about that. And we also have Parker calling Nick at the same time. So Charlie and Parker, I'm just gonna need you. I'm gonna need Jen to take the phone back away. I'm gonna need everyone to not, because this is such a bad things could happen because of this. But that kind of breaks down the actual episode. But we do have a fun little segment for you guys, hosted by none other than Mia.
Woo! We are gonna play Dead or Tread.
So
who wants to do the tire screech? Oh my gosh, double tires. We love it. All right, so in this game called Dead or Tread, we'll name some scenarios from the show, 2 particularly, and we'll decide if the offender would be dead to us if they did this, or if we forgive them, but just, you know, tread lightly afterwards. Just, we're feeling good, we're feeling nice, we're gonna forgive some people, maybe.
Pump the brakes.
Yes, halt. All right. So number 1 is you find out someone that you're dating did a hit and run, aka Michelle and Judy. What if she found out?
I mean, did the person die?
Yeah, did they die? I
think it matters.
They died. Let's take it to the limit, full throttle. They died.
I think that maybe we're not gonna pursue that then.
Yeah, if they die, I don't know if I could. I can't forgive that. That's terrible.
It's so.
What about you, Mia? Are you like, well?
Now I feel kind of okay. I'm shocking myself a little bit. My answer was clearly hell no. You're a liar, and to the worst degree, like death. Like,
that's true. I even forgot what like the definition of a hit and run is. You're right.
Yes, but I'm like, you literally like hit someone and then never told anybody, and then they died. But then I'm also like, okay, but then I thought about Judy, and I'm like, but what if the person, like, what are the circumstances surrounding it? Like, Judy is so like adorable and nice and really does have a good heart and was in the car with someone who convinced her not to. But then I'm like, do you have control over your own actions and like what you think is right? I don't know. So I would say no, though. I would say no.
Yeah, I agree. Now I'm gonna say definitely no, because I did forget. I was like, oh, I was just like thinking an accident, but like hit and run is so much worse than an accident. So yeah.
Oh yeah, I guess it would be like a what's it called? Manslaughter. We should say.
Yeah. So we're gonna say definitely dead. I was like leaning towards the middle of the two. No, we're dead now.
Yeah.
Dead to us. All right. Question
Definitely
2:
dead.
If someone broke up with you and then came back the next day, aka Judy, and was like, I should have brought a boombox. Like, I love you. I really like you a lot. I really messed up. Would you take them back? Would you tread lightly, or would you say you are dead to me? You broke it off. Like, this is over.
Definitely tread.
Yeah, because especially the way that Judy broke up with her, it wasn't like a malicious thing. It was like she was like, I'm just not ready for this right now. Like, I don't feel like I can do this right now with you, but she obviously really likes her. So I think especially, I mean, if they did something worse than, the way Judy broke up with her, I'd be like, oh, I don't know. But especially if it was like this kind of situation, I was like, okay,
Yeah.
lapse in judgment.
I agree.
Same thing for Cortez. I would say the same thing, yeah, but I really need to know what was going through your head, because if you're going to be back and forth, there's no room for that. But if it was just a one-time thing and you had a really good reason, you're in a bad mental space in that moment, sure, why not?
Yeah, back and forth is not good. The first time, sure, but after that, it's like, you're confused. Like, get away from me.
Yes. One chance only. We're being nice, but only one time, which is how it should go.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks for playing.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. It's literally one of my favorite parts of the whole show. So much fun to debate and, to really question who we are at our cores. Okay, guys, let's get into some predictions for the last 2 episodes.
Oh my gosh.
Does anyone have any?
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Love that. Anyone have any good to go at the ready?
I will say that I think, I hope that, Hastings doesn't come close to one of the guys, but I feel like they're going to get a piece that they really need, and that it's going to really get them in some deeper trouble, as in Judy and did we mention, did we mention the situation at the hospital?
I did kind of skim over that, but yeah, we can definitely dive deeper into that as we're predicting.
My predictions with that is that Perez, I think she's gonna have a little breakdown herself, because she needs it. She's a little too tough, I think. And I don't know. I don't even know. I'm worried for Michelle and Judy. I don't even know if they'll be able to recover now, because Michelle is like,
Mm-hmm.
So that's my prediction.
I think that's definitely a good prediction, as sad as it is. What about you, Mia?
I don't know. It's so hard because it's the last 2 episodes. So it's like, there's going to be the big twist coming that's going to lead us to season 3. But I will say, so small prediction, I really think that Charlie picked up the freaking phone. I cannot believe he called that guy. What a move. I think the guy's going to track the call, because I think maybe it wasn't clear, but in that scene, I thought it was pretty clear that he's part of the mafia or has some connection, because he said something on the phone. I think he said like mafia, or I don't know what he said. But I was like, whoa, there's no way he said that way. He did not say mafia, but he said something. And I was like, whoa. I was like, oh my gosh. So I think, he's going to be bad news bears. And I think maybe Michelle and Judy, like, since they're back together, but like, had weird feelings. I don't know. I feel like would Michelle turn Judy in if like she found out, if Judy told her what she actually did? No, I think she'd have her back. I
don't know. I'm so nervous because speaking of the hospital scene, we do see Perez like softening a little bit. I agree with you, that she's softening a little, and Judy is showing her so much kindness still, despite Perez like trying to hunt her down at every turn when she, gets her the tissues and stuff. So I don't know. I feel like maybe that could be like work in Judy's favor in a way, because she's like, oh, like she is such a kind person. Like maybe she didn't have anything to do with this, or maybe I should like go a little easier on her. So I don't know. I just feel like Judy's personality, like maybe we'll get her out of something for once instead of having everyone be annoyed with her. I also think that Parker is just going to turn Charlie in for driving without a license. I feel like it's like, I really do.
Which will lead down another freaking hole, probably.
Yeah. But I feel like that's what she's calling about. And we also get the small scene in the little moment of Judy telling Perez that she lost her mom too, but then calling for her mom at the end. So
she did call her. She did. I think she said I think it was. I believe it was her mom, but she had the same last name as her.
Right.
Yeah.
So it was somebody in her family. I know that. Maybe sister.
Oh.
I don't know.
Yeah. My prediction was that her mom was in jail and maybe she got out of jail, and then like she didn't tell Judy that she's been released, and so maybe like Judy doesn't know where to contact her or something now. That's what I'm thinking.
That's good.
Oh, I don't know, but and I think that just for my season ending predictions, I definitely think you're right, Mia, and that there's going to be another crazy twist. I think there could possibly be another death. I think there could be someone else coming out of left field that they now have to like keep a secret for, and have like 3 sides of like mutually assured destruction going on here. I don't know though.
There's only 2 episodes left, so I would hope they wouldn't do all of this in the end. I know. I'm like, what? We have to wait a whole other year. Like, don't give us so much in the last two. Like, kind of wrap some things up and then open new worms. But like, there's so many worms going on right now. I'm like,
Well, don't
do
forget
me
the
like
bird
that.
symbolism. They're multiplying. So there might be another death. You're right.
I just
I'm
I feel like
tired.
someone else is.
But everyone on this panel has been right about a prediction so far. So, I mean, we've got some juice flowing. There's got to be something.
I'm ready. Guys, we're going to break down the last two in just a little bit at 7 Pacific time tonight. So definitely join us for that. But where can everyone find you guys before then?
You can find me on Instagram at StupidWildTez. We can talk about the show and many other things if you want to.
You can find me on Twitter at HotMessMia and on YouTube. Oh, wait, what am I saying? Instagram at Yours Truly Mia. And on YouTube, too. I do have a YouTube account, so find me there.
And you guys can find me on Twitter at alphabet_ace. We will see you guys in just a little bit to break down the finale. See you soon.
For TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.